Hey everybody, thanks for clicking the video and coming over and spending your time on the ham radio crash course. Another big thank you to Ham Radio Outlet for letting me come in, invade the store, and getting some of Ron's time in explaining this new FTDX101D. Now, I know this is a $4,000 radio, which puts it out of the price range of a lot of people, myself included, but it's always fun to look at new up-and-coming technology, and this one is interesting because it's a hybrid SDR. So it has a traditional receiver, but also has two SDRs, which we'll get into a little bit in this video. Again, Ron used to work for Yaesu, so he's very knowledgeable about the product line, and I had a lot of fun picking his brain and asking him some questions. So, without further ado, let's get started. One thing, Yaesu, you guys, we didn't have the 101MP in the store at the time. I'd love to do an extended review on that bad boy, so if you just want to ship me one over, I'm happy to send it back. But, you know, let me play with it for a couple months or so. That'd be great. Anyway, contact me below. Okay, let's go. Hey, what's up guys? It's Josh KI6NAZ. Having a donut at Ham Radio Outlet and checking out the new FTDX101D. Very interesting. Let's check it out.
Delta, I just need the last two. So I just do it. What building are you in?
Yeah, so you got you drop the noise down to what is that? An S1,
S1
2?
to S2 by changing the adjusting the pre-selector over here on the right, the VC tune.
Okay.
And then I can shut it on and off. There.
And then when it's off, look at that, it goes
up to S. And if you shut it off completely, it goes up to S5.
Right.
And that's with I have the filter, the width right now on it is 800. Okay. So and the 3 kilohertz RF. 12 is right there anyways.
Okay.
Roofing filters on 3 kilohertz.
Okay.
And over here, and right here is a private, so that's 12 there. You know.
Everything is a touch control.
Yes, it is. If you go mono, you can get a little bit more in, so you can see the filter here when you have it set up.
Mono meaning just one receiver?
Yeah, one receiver, and then you have both the meters, and then here.
Yeah, and you can change the. Look at that! You can change the meters.
SWR over here. Over here, you can put temp or compression or power, whichever way you're using. And it selects it up here. It's actually lit for the one that you have selected. See, if you have temp, it shows it.
Oh, I see, because they're all there, of course.
Because they're all there.
Right.
Now this right here actually came off of the FT1. And the FT102 had this dual meter arrangement back in the late 80s. Okay, that was a Yaesu thing back in the day. That's their thing, and they've only ever had it on a couple of radios.
You're talking about like that right there?
Yeah, that. The FTDX9000 also has the same meter arrangement as well. Only on the really high-end radios did they put that capability. So now up here it tells you in blue what it's selected: SWR meter and power. So
right.
So you see it in blue, and you also see it highlighted in white.
Right.
So it's at a glance.
So you still got touch control if you want to key in.
Yeah, right.
There's no keypad, right? Unlike some of the other radios.
Put here like this or right here.
You can just type.
And then you type in the number, the frequency, and you hit enter. You're done.
Okay.
It makes it easy. It does have a keypad, but not like a traditional radio.
So I noticed it has buttons for the band selection too.
Yeah,
that's a lot of space they've got up in there. Are those multi buttons? They do multiple things.
The blue one is the white one is the main band, and the blue, if you go sub, is on 40. So the second receiver is on 40 if that's lit.
Right.
Now, if you press here, you have dual RX lights on. That means you have the secondary receiver on. Right. If you turn it up, there's a second receiver. Hear it?
Oh, so this is like you'd love this if you were like contesting on
this is good if you're looking for a contest station,
right,
or a DX station, and they're working 5 up.
Right.
You can actually hear who he's working, and by just pushing one button, you hit the split button.
Right, because you're splitting on both.
Now you transmit over momentarily, so you'll get them every time. You don't have to sit there and search where they're at.
Ah, okay.
So that's what that's used for. That's why you have the dual receiver.
Right.
And it doesn't make any sense until you've used a radio that has one. Then you'll never go back to another one. Because you can nail them every time. You just hear what they're talking. And
then you're ready for
Bang! You transmit, done, move in, move out. You know.
So 2 USB ports. What's the
they're
reason?
for a keyboard.
Oh.
And then right here it's got to save all the settings.
Yeah.
And then it also has a USB, and it has so you can hook it up, and you can do RTTY CW, and you can also do FT8.
So it's got a sound interface in the back.
It's got a built-in USB sound interface that you can connect to, and then you go to the Yaesu webpage and you download their virtual driver.
Right.
Put it on your computer, and then hook the USB port up to it, and then you're good to go.
So, keyboard and 2 keyboards, or why do you need 2? Or is that like a USB stick if you have memory?
You can put a USB stick to save some of your settings there, or you can put it down here, whichever way you want to do it.
Oh, okay.
So you can put a keyboard and a mouse, because you can also use a mouse to manipulate the software.
Really?
With the mouse, yes.
So the keyboard, you just type and it'll do things like...
Yeah, change the band or whatever you want to do when you go to the keypad. You can actually use the number pad on the keypad to put in the frequencies.
Oh, okay.
And then you can use the mouse to navigate.
Oh, like if you had a 10 key or something like that.
Like a 10 key, exactly. Allow you to manipulate that. So the second receiver's here, separate volume control here. See?
Yep.
So it would behoove you to put like 2 speakers on it. You can separate it left or right.
Or if you had headsets, you can split
like
left, right.
Pro 7, it has left and right. You can put the right receiver on one side, the left receiver on the other. Gives you that, you know. So, you know, and then over here's a sub main, and then here's the fine tuning. So
fine tuning just changes your.
So see how it
drops it way down.
So you can get really.
Now you can fine tune too by just clicking that to activate it. Yeah, so you've got both controls available.
So like right here, if I want to get real, I can get right.
You're going into 0 beat 'em.
Yeah, see, I can get right here. See, I can get right on the money.
Yep.
And expand, I can go 100 or and get real close, you know.
Yeah, so that was one thing that the 7300, when you narrow the span, it kind of just stops working.
Because it's just too much going on.
Yeah.
You know, so
I would like to think this could probably handle a pretty low bandwidth.
So that's 500 down here, so if we go 100, it puts us over here, and then the key component's 5, or span over here is kind of like 20K. It puts you right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can see everything a lot better.
Oh wow, look at that! Look at that!
So now you can press
cool.
here.
It looks like an 80s arcade game.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? So you go level here, and now you can adjust the level to 5 right there, and then that's the noise floor. As I have with all the filters, see, I have very narrow filter in there right now.
Right.
The width is like at 100 hertz, 50 hertz. And see, some of the signals are coming up now because you can hear them. See them now? You can see the different signals that are here because I'm opening up the receiver.
Oh yeah, and you can see it popping up.
Yeah, and then here, this is your notch, where you have your notch at. So if I touch this, press here, and then do the notch here.
The little V, you can slide it over. Yeah.
See it?
Look at that.
You hear the noise change? So now...
So if you had an adjacent station, you could just...
And you can use it as interference because it's gotten rid of some of that background frying, annoying sound.
Yeah, it smoothed it out.
Now I can go right here, and it won't let me get too close. See that?
So So you could do you could lower the filter, but you could also just notch out and smooth the sound out of it.
So if I press this and this, these are all the signals that we're looking at.
Right. Oh, that's amazing.
So now
the color that it drops out.
You can see right here, and there's other signals here, and then we have this at right now that it's set at this band is set at 20K, so 10 on either side. So this is just all the background noise back here, and see the noise levels down low, and the signals peaked up because we have the. I have to go over here and hit the peaking filter, and that should spot them right there. You see how it's hitting the button there? It's changing a little bit at a time.
Yeah. So is that trying to zero beat? Is
that's what you were doing. Yeah.
Because the 7300's got that auto tune button, which I use a lot.
It's basically the same thing.
Yeah. I would assume this has that too, right?
Yeah.
Pretty good sound too.
Yeah. You boost the signal because you got rid of all the background noise.
Right.
All you're hearing
it's
is
literally
you
nothing.
Just picked it up out of. Now you can sit here and listen just to that, and then you have the annoying frying eggs and bacon in the background. That is just very,
Not gonna blow your ears out with all the white noise.
Basically, all the white noise in the background is very intensive to their psyche, and it makes you wears you out quickly. So.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. Look at that. I just love the. It's literally like a 80s music video or a 90s music video.
Right.
Or like a video game. Yeah.
And take it off. You can see them there, but it's whatever.
You lose some of the.
So here you can see it has the histogram going away from you.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Before we were talking about this is the broadband SDR.
That's the broadband SDR.
And then the center part looks like it's real vibrant. That's the narrow banded SDR.
That's the narrow band SDR.
In addition to the standard, what is it, a triple heterodyne?
It's a double conversion only.
Double conversion, okay.
Receiver. So it's like a 9 meg down conversion. So it's just a double conversion. So this has actually got a front end in it that allows you to do all this stuff, where you can drop the noise floor and then amplify the signal that you want.
So the pre-selector is the traditional radio.
The pre-selector would be your basically your picket fence that drops off all the unwanted noise and only allows the signals that you want to hear to come through.
Okay.
That's what this is doing basically, because the noise floor is just grass.
As a quick comparison, you're saying this has the pre-selector, which is on this wheel.
Oh, on this outer ring, yeah.
This guy did not.
Does not have this.
But this one
has it built in.
So this is kind of in between these two.
The difference between this and this is this has got a 200 watt transmitter with a built-in power supply, and this one does not.
Oh, this is a built-in power supply.
Built-in power supply is a 200 watt transceiver.
So they are coming out with a 200 watt
version with an external power supply and speaker in it. And it'll be equivalent to this radio. The only difference is,
200 watts.
200 watt radio, yeah.
Why do you want 200 watts?
Because it's an extra 3 dB, which means that you can have, if you have a gain antenna, you have an extra 3 dB of signal. That's the extra 3 dB you can apply to an 8 dB antenna. Now you have lots of power. Your 200 watt single sideband or CW radio sounds like a 1,000 watt to 1,200 watt transmitter on the air with 200 watts. If not, you sound like a 250 watt signal with a 3 dB or a 8 dB antenna at 100 watts. So you go up about 3 to 5 S units louder. And that's the difference between 100 watts and 200 watts.
I mean, you guys have the in-store deal right now, but the 200 watt radio, that thing's going to be like 5,000.
About 5,500, give or take.
You're almost at amp land with that money.
Yeah, but you don't need an amp. Usually, if you have what's called a 200 watt radio, really you don't need an amplifier. I have an FTDX5000 with a Sugar Baker 220, and basically the amplifier is used to make the ham shack look pretty.
Or warm it up.
It's used to warm up the shack and make it look pretty. I've only used it twice in the whole year, so.
So just a size comparison too. So here's the big guy, the new one, and then you slide right over.
There's a 991.
And there's his little brother.
And here's the 3000.
And this is the 3000.
In comparison, it's substantially larger.
Let me back it up actually. So
it's substantially smaller.
It is substantially smaller.
Yeah, this is a lot bigger because this has got dual receivers in it.
It's both wider
and taller and deeper.
Yeah, and deeper.
This has got dual receivers in it.
How many antenna jacks?
That one has 3. This one has as well. But this has dual 9 meg receivers in, so they're very large.
Right.
Take a lot of space, and then it has 2 SDRs in there, a wideband and a narrowband, that allow you to manipulate the bandwidth with a pre-selector, and the pre-selector is a large board with a big air variable capacitor on a stepper motor. That's how you're doing it.
Really?
And that allows you to drop the noise floor on the front end of the radio. And that's, like I said, it's kind of like a big iron gate that you can move up and down.
Right.
To increase the selectivity and sensitivity of the receiver.
So when are they going to put a pre-selector in one of these?
Well, there's not enough space. So consequently, no, you couldn't put that in there, even if you wanted to. Even if you threw it down a cliff, it won't fit in there.
But this is basically, you're saying the pre-selector's the reason to get this.
Yeah, the pre-selector,
which is a step up. Aside from the SDRs and all that good stuff.
They make a pre-selector for this one as well, but it's $499 that you can plug into the back.
Oh, okay.
The problem is that puts it in the FTDX5000 land,
which has
and
pre-selector.
you still only have only have a 100-watt radio. So why would you want to buy that if you can buy that?
Yeah, this generation of screens that this guy shares as well.
Yeah. They're okay.
They're okay, but this is insane.
This is a new set. And this also has an HDMI output on the back of the radio so that you can connect it to any size monitor. That's
awesome.
That's pretty nice about this radio.
Yeah.
And so consequently, and it has the very excellent Yaesu DNR,
Yeah, that DNR is something.
Yeah.
All the way down to that guy.
Yeah.
The DNR on this is awesome.
Yes, it is.
See, I just put the 12.
This has way more on-face controls than the 3000.
Right.
And this is still a touchscreen where everything's still on the touchscreen.
Right. There's a lot of menus in this.
A lot of things.
If you go into the function key here, and you can
oh my
see
God! Yeah, it's the bridge. What were you saying, Shane? It's the bridge from Star Trek.
Yeah, it's the bridge from Star Trek. And this is one of multiple menus that you can go into. Okay, so you got the marker, the color. You can change all the stuff, group, the filters.
And this blue line is the narrow SDR, right? That's that little blue line is kind of what the receiver.
Right.
Yeah, there's all your signals in it. Yeah, okay. So it is actually pretty high contrast.
Yeah. So right here you can see
this though. Yeah.
That's the difference between the other one. The waterfall's nice and the SDR, but this. I'm not sure, but this might be capable like the 5000 to go to 4K, and what that makes it sound like an AM receiver.
Oh, okay.
Because this one here has like you can go to 4K, and it makes it
a 4K filter
4K
on single sideband.
On single sideband, so it makes it sound like an AM receiver. This might have that capability.
I'm assuming you'd want a low noise floor if you were going to do that.
Q7QE, 07 Delta Papa Sierra.
And that's a solid S9.
Yeah.
Well, and that's with
Q7QE, 07 Delta Papa Sierra. Kilo Sierra, do you try again?
So, let's see what we can do with this guy.
Okay, Kilo 6, Kilo Sierra, thank you. 59 Hotel Alpha Radio, Charlie Tango. So far, this is November 1, Italy X-Ray Foxtrot.
He's on 304, right? Yeah.
X-Ray Fox.
Now I have the pre-selector in.
So far, November 1, Italy X-Ray Foxtrot. N1 Italy X-Ray Foxtrot.
Yeah.
So you drop the noise floor to S3.
So far, November 1, Italy X-Ray Foxtrot. N1 Italy X-Ray Fox.
Right.
Nice to hear you. You're 59 Hartford County, Connecticut. Hotel Alpha Radio, Charlie Tango. Yeah, okay, very good. Yeah, you get a nice signal to Connecticut. I've got a nice little pipeline going to Florida. The rest of the country, the A-index is killing the propagation.
Yeah. I think I need Connecticut. Let's throw a mic on this bad boy.
Well, you're doing a great job. 736, that was my first radio.
But this is it's an all-around good radio. It's just, has a lot of features that you'd have to, get
learn.
Learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a learning curve, how to understand how to use the VC tuning.
I'm guessing that if you're looking to buy a radio, you know, with a price tag of about that much, you're buying a radio that you're going to learn anyway, right?
Yeah, well, you've either had a 5,000 or a 3,000, and you're moving either to this one or moving from a 3,000 to a 101, or from a FTDX 5,000 to this because of the size consideration, and you wanted less power for whatever reason. But this has some features, like I said, and then
or you have an amp. So you have a 100 amp, you have a 100 watt radio. You don't need the 200 watt.
You put the amp on it. Now the MP version of this has a second VC on the secondary receiver, because this one doesn't have.
Okay.
It has the VC tuning on the primary only over here.
Okay.
But it doesn't have it on the secondary. So if you're trying to do the same thing you want to do on the primary that you want to do on the secondary, the MP version, which is the 200 watt version, has the secondary VC tuning in there, variable tuning on the front end. And it also has a bunch of filters that this one doesn't have that you can add on the 9 meg receiver and on the 8 meg receiver to enhance the capability of the radio even further.
So the 8 meg is going to change your whole bandwidth space, basically, right?
The 9 meg is the primary receiver, the analog receiver.
Gotcha.
Radio, and then this one's got some filtration in it, but it's just a matter of pushing a button and it takes you straight.
It's a digital filter versus a physical filter, and you're saying you can add physical filters to this still.
Yeah, to this one.
Oh.
The MP version comes with fully loaded. This one.
I was trying to see why they were spending. I mean, it's almost $2,000 more for the 200 watt version. So I'm guessing that it's loaded with filters and 200 watts.
And it's 200 watts, and it has the dual variable tuning front end, and so it's a fully dressed out radio, because it's just only one VC tune on the primary. Now if you go to the secondary sub here, it would have it as well. So if you're doing the secondary receiver, you can adjust the primary and the secondary exactly the same. So that allows you. That's what the 5,000 has. Whatever you can do to the A side, you can do to the B side. Well, you can do this on the MP version of this radio, but not the D version.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So that's where the extra scratch comes in. You need to, if you want to be.
There's a whole bunch of things that
you can add to it. Then
Yeah.
you can dump it in. By the time you dump all those features in, you might as well just buy an MP, because other than the 200 watts, I mean. Because that VC unit is going to be like $300 to $400 all by itself to drop it in and get it to work in the radio. So.
Oh, all right.
So
Well, thank you, Ron, for.
Not a problem, and it's a good radio for.
I mean,
it's a very excellent entry level radio for somebody that wants something they're not going to fiddle with for a while.
I like that. I actually like that it has both traditional analog equipment and 2 SDRs. It's kind of like a kitchen sink radio.
But it has a lot of stuff going
versus,
on.
you know, you got the icons with. These are 2 SDRs basically, right? Or is this single SDR? Single?
Dual SDRs, 2 receivers.
2 receivers, okay.
And this one also has dual receiver, but this one actually has front end components that allow you to attenuate and manipulate the signal so it doesn't overload the SDR receiver.
Gotcha.
The ICOMs don't have that. They have something very close to it, but it doesn't quite, you know.
Yeah, so before we turn the cameras on, you were saying, you know, when the sun cycle starts to turn, and we get lots of signals coming in,
it's going to swamp.
This is going to have way more selectivity,
and sensitivity,
and selectivity.
The 7300 will be an all-around good radio, but under harsh conditions,
you're going to get overloaded.
It's going to get swamped out. Yes.
Yeah, same with this one.
And the 7610 will have the same issues, maybe to a little bit lesser extent, but it'll have that problem.
Sure. Well, okay.
Yeah, so this one actually has some front end components that'll mitigate that problem altogether.
All right. Well, thank you for the walkthrough. It's pretty. That's the first time I've seen something like that.
It's a very pretty radio.
I love that.
I think anybody that buys one is going to be very happy with their purchase.
Hey, thanks for making it all the way to the end of this much longer video than my normal standalones. If you have not already and you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. I do live stream every Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We try to add a little piece of information about ham radio to our collective brain so that we can move forward with ham radio, learn a bit more, experience the fun of it, and grow constantly our knowledge in this space. Since you have made it this far, I got a little extra clip on the back end of the doobly-doo for all my 857 fans out there. Just kidding, I love you all. I'm glad you like your radio. All right, take it easy. See ya. Hey look, an 857 with a broken screen.
What's new and exciting for that?